Hi, my name is Traci Oliver. I'm a real estate agent who's been in the business for over 21 years, and I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Kristina O'Neill, who is a loan officer who's been in the business for over 25 years. This is the second video in our series for the home buying process, and we're going to pick up from our original video where we now talk a little bit about what happens once the buyer is under contract. So Kristina, the buyer's under contract, what happens next?
So phase 2 is a big phase. So as soon as you go under contract, within a certain number of days, we typically try to have it within 24 to 48 hours, that we ask that you send us over, and Traci will send over the contract, or your realtor will send over the contract, and then we begin the disclosures that we have to send out. This is where we cinch down your interest rate, the lock-in. We find out if you're gonna go FHA, conventional, VA, whatever that loan is. We've already established that when we did the pre-approval part, but this is where we get in that knit and grit where we know exactly what your rate is, we know exactly what your payment's gonna run you. You still would need to shop for a few things. One of those is gonna be home insurance. That's the start of where you would try to find that home insurance policy. And then we package up those disclosures, send them out to you. And this is kind of where it depends on how quickly the contracts are. So there is contingencies in the contract that Traci will go over that will evaluate how the timing of how things go along. So we have appraisal contingencies, we have finance contingencies, home inspection contingencies. This is where we try to meet all those dates, and then we send out the disclosures to you. You sign them, we review them together. We walk you through the process because it is a lot of paperwork, and we make sure that you understand the process that goes along with that. And then the next stage after you sign it is we then package it up to go to the processor. The processor then looks to see if we missed anything. It's always good to have a second set of eyes on there. So then we send it over to the underwriter.
Thanks, Kristina. So while all of this is going on, the buyer is actually kind of wearing two hats at this time. They're still the buyer buying the house, but then they're also the borrower getting a loan. And so you kind of wearing two different hats and a lot of things going on at once, which is why it's important to have a very good team working for you. Your lender and the lender's team is managing the loan to go down the right track towards settlement date, and then your real estate agent is working with you with meeting all of the obligations within the contract. So typically a buyer can expect from the day you write the contract until the day you go to settlement to be about 30 days. There's always some variation there with negotiating with a seller, but typically you've got 30 days. Now that may seem like a long time, but a lot of things happen and that moves very quickly. So while the loan and lending team is taking care of your borrower aspects, your real estate agent is going to work with you on scheduling all of your contingencies and inspections that you built into the contract that were agreed on as part of the terms. And so those are going to include a home inspection, any other type of inspection that you have. There's going to be a review of homeowner association or condo docs if the property you bought has those. And then you're going to have what Kristina referenced, the lending related contingencies, the appraisal and the finance contingency. And within there, there are various other inspections that take place. You may have termite or pest inspection that's required. And all of these things are outlined in the contract. Your real estate agent will go over that with you, and those set timelines and deadlines for that. So your real estate agent's going to make sure that you meet those deadlines and all of these boxes are checked, and we like to call them hurdles. So if you can sort of use that visual of you're going over these hurdles and then the finish line, everything has been taken care of on your behalf, and we get to that finish line where you've met all the obligations and you've done all of the things you needed to do within the contracts and all of the contingencies are removed. I think it's important to understand that while all of this is going on, you of course are probably also packing because you're going to be moving at the end of this process, but it's important to sort of talk about what you should not be doing during this process. And what are some of those things, Kristina?
Yeah, so this one is really key. We just had this happen actually within the last 2 weeks. We had a gentleman that we had told him we were getting ready to package his loan up to underwriting. We'd gotten an alert that there was 2 new hits on his credit report, which is great. So it keeps us in communication. We know what's going on. We monitor that loan. And I reached out to him and he says, and I said, did you recently purchase something? He goes, yes, I got a great deal on 2 new cars. Isn't that great?
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
super great for you, but unfortunately now you don't qualify for your house, which is the reason why we say no large purchases. So whenever you're getting ready to think about going buy that car, going to open up a credit card, or having any other financial changes, we just ask that you reach out to your loan officer, because with that communication, we can go through those hurdles. Unfortunately for him, he had to pay cash for those cars. So he did get a great deal on the interest rate, but he wasn't going to be able to buy his house. So as much as it's great that those things happen, and a lot of times people will get furniture deals and they'll say, oh, I got a great deal. It was $20,000, 0% interest. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is a great deal. But unfortunately, if it bumps you up where you can't qualify based off a debt to income ratio, that could be a huge hurdle that we're gonna have to get through. And we'll work through it together, but the communication and open communication with your lender, with your realtor, those are super important during this process.
So probably just like not do anything new until you
Yes.
go to the settlement.
Just say no.
That's a good thing to do. There's some other things that have to happen as we are getting closer and closer to the finish line. And again, your real estate agent who has been doing this for many years, and I like to say that we sell a house every week, so we're very familiar with what needs to happen where this is something that you as a buyer are not doing frequently or have not done at all. It's the little details to get you to the finish line. It's scheduling utilities so that they are on by the day you move in, and you're not going to be without power or heat when you move into your new home. It's making sure that you have your movers lined up. These are things that usually need to be done well in advance, and if you're leaving one home and moving to the other, you want to make sure that it's a very smooth transaction. And making sure, as Kristina had mentioned, some of the other things, the insurance is set up, and any other utilities and services that you need to have to make sure that everything is set up and organized. And working with a good team is going to provide you with those resources. This is something that we do every week. So we have great resources to recommend to you, whether you need window treatments or you need repairs, or you're going to need new flooring or paint, or anything that will help you with your move and your transaction. When you have a good team working with you, you have all of those resources at your disposal.
Absolutely. I think the key on that one for this summary for this video would be having the open communication, having a strong realtor like Traci on your team, and just communicate throughout the process, which we definitely pride ourselves on, and making sure we send out each milestone so you know where you're at with the loan process as well.
Great, thank you. We look forward to seeing you on the next video.
Thank you.